Here's the deal. Millions of miles traveled across the globe. Thousands of concerts attended. Hundreds of thousands of records and concert tickets sold as a music store owner. Some people listen to music. Some actually live the life and survive to tell the tale. This is the autobiographical life story and rock and roll adventures of Max Baker Jr. Sponsored by MedCards Made Easy. Visit MedCardsMadeEasy.net and the fabulous Baker Boys. Always hiring. For more information, call 405-417-7656. This is the Here's the Deal podcast with Max Baker Jr.
I am Max Baker Jr., and this is my story. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Yo, this is Big Dad Rich, the Band of Outlaws, THC, Texas Hippie Coalition. And
Here's the deal.
Hello, I'm Charlie Crockett, and here's the deal.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Jelly Roll, and here's the deal.
Hey, this is Jeff Keith from Tessa, and here's the deal.
What's good? My name is Yellow Wolf, Catfish Billy, and here's my pool stick in your grill, and here's the deal.
Hi, this is Joey Ramone here, and when I'm in Oklahoma, I party with Mad Mac.
And that's exactly what we are doing today.
What?
Can you not hear?
I can hear.
Better?
Yeah, okay.
Everybody here okay?
Yep.
We are partying, for
Yep.
sure.
That's for sure.
There we go. Now talk, Max.
All right,
Put it closer to you.
I can.
good.
I can
There
hear
we
you.
go.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, good.
Let me adjust Max a little bit here.
Yeah. Nice.
Keep talking, Max.
All right, so you excited? Me too.
Yes.
Keep talking.
This is the first for me.
Yep.
For all of us, for me and
Yeah.
her as well.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Hopefully it's the start of great things.
Uh-huh.
Hang on just a second.
Wait. Okay.
Mechanical difficulties.
Yep.
You ever had any?
Nope.
Yes, you have. Your car ever break?
Yeah.
There we go. Much better, Max.
All right.
All right. We are back with another episode of the Here's the Deal podcast, the Max Baker Jr. story. And this is a very special episode because every episode other than the first episode, really, up until this point, have been all about music and the music history and the projects that you've been involved with and the shows you've put on or the shows you've worked. But if everyone out there listening has listened to the very first episode, they know racing was a big part of your life. And when I talk about racing, I talk about specifically motorcycle racing was a big part of your life.
Yeah, dirt track motocross.
And not just you.
My whole family.
Your whole family.
From my sister to my brothers to,
Yeah.
you know, it's been in our family since I got a motorcycle when I was 5 years old.
That was the first time you got on a bike.
Yes, when I was 5 years old.
So we wanted to bring in our special guest, Bryce Prescott, who is a flat track motorcycle racer. And you are one of Bryce's sponsors with the Here's the Deal podcast.
Absolutely.
So
I'm very proud to be.
What I want you to do, Max, is I want you to tell the story about how you met Bryce and how this came about. Because from my perspective, we came into the office to record the podcast one day, and I'm setting up, and you'll go, "You're never going to believe this." They said,
This classic Max Baker.
This flat track racer came in looking for sponsors. We're gonna sponsor him. He's gonna have. Here's the deal, And I was like, all right, that's because I know deep down your love for motorcycle racing.
Here's the deal. Motorcycles to me have been everything. It was the beginning of the path that I went down, so to speak. And from having a mini bike to getting into a Suzuki 90. My dad took me to the track when I was 13. And, that's where the term came. We didn't come this far to lose, because not only did he take me to the track, but he took me to a lot of tracks all over the United States. And I was very good at what I did. And, my little brothers and sisters, we were all like a motorcycle family. And dirt bikes. And from that point on, until my life changed when I started messing up, so to speak. But my love have never went away. I took my brother all over the United States, three-wheel racing, national circuits, had many friends, many people that still ride today. They call them veterans. And, there's some guys just 64 years old like me. There's a dude named Trey Jorsky that's a total monster on a motorcycle. And he's hell on two wheels. I've known him since we were teenagers. So it's the competitiveness. And, the thing about motorcycle racing to me is sports. I love competition. But if you're playing baseball, you have a team. If you're playing football, you have a team. Soccer, hockey, basketball, you have a team. If you're racing motorcycles, you have the bike, and hopefully you got a good mechanic. Unless you're doing it yourself and you're a privateer, then you better know what you're doing. But the only thing you have in racing as a team is yourself and that motorcycle.
That's it.
And so, that's competition. There's nothing like 40 people going into a turn and whoever comes out, it's race on. So, and as the years went on, I've always kept up with it. I've always went live sports. I can remember a few years back, they had this thing called Diamond Dawn's vintage motorcycles. I rode in the 70s, whereas just like everything, you look at Evel Knievel, you look at the motorcycles in the 70s, if you were jumping, and no matter how high you were going, you were going to bottom out. Once you bottomed out, you better be able to hang on and keep it together. So, but there was I remember when Tom Petty played down here with them was at Chesapeake. He opened his tour. And then I went to Dallas to see him. And then from there, I went to some place on the border of Louisiana and Texas. And they had this thing called Diamond Dawn's Vintage Motocross Nationals. It was all these vintage 60s, 50s, 70s, 80s, that they had these classes, and I went to it and seen it. But the love for it's always there. And then, so my dad, who's always helped people in the motorcycle world, racing, sponsorships, everything. Well, I'm in my office and Samantha tells me, hey, Scott here that wants to talk to you, And so I talk to him, and it's Bryce. And he comes into my shop and my office and starts telling me about, first off, he was asking about Here's the Deal, the podcast, telling me he's a big fan of it. And, so we got to talking. And then he started telling me that he was a racer and, flat track racer. And so we got talking anymore, and then he asked me, hey, I got sponsorships, and I'm like, really? How much are they? What are they? What does it entail? And where will the money go? The money be going to help me follow my dream to flat track all over the United States. Yeah. And so he told me his price, he told me his sponsorships level, and I told him I'd get back with him. And then I decided, called him, And here we are. You know, the cool thing about being a sponsor is, it was not even the cool thing about it, but he goes out on this race, and then I come into my office, and here's sitting a trophy, a first place flag of his race, you know? And I mean,
that's pretty awesome.
That's the first one that I won with that series.
The thing about it is how many people, and dude, I commend you, because I don't know if I would have gave up my trophy.
I wouldn't have made it there if it weren't for the help that I get.
So, but without further ado, I want Bryce to tell, you know, and then we brought, you know, they say start him young, or pretty much I'm 5 years old riding a motorcycle. How old are you?
5.
5 years old.
5 years old.
You're the same age as my youngest son.
I didn't know that.
And I'm pretty sure there's no chance he would get on a motorcycle and ride like you do.
Does she ride a motorcycle?
She's in the dirt cage carts.
Yes.
Yes.
No, she's
the carts.
She's
not
in the mini
motorcycles.
sprint car looking.
Yeah, she's in the cage carts.
Yes, I do not ride a motorcycle.
So how fast does your cart go?
Oh, really fast. Like, my pa fixed it for me.
Fixed it. Meaning
Yes.
he made it faster.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you know what, though? You know what I hear?
What?
I hear that you know how to put the gas on and never let up.
Yep.
All gas, no brakes?
It has brakes.
But you don't use them.
I use them to stop at the line.
Stop at the line.
Yes.
So
how many?
When I start at the line, I stop and I pressed it.
How many races have you raced so far?
I think 10 so far. No, 8.
Probably more than that. About 15, 15 or 20 in the last year.
But
Yeah,
so
probably.
you're 5 years old.
Yeah.
You drive a car
Mhm.
without a license,
Yep.
and you're good at it.
Yes. In one race, I was a bit slow, and then I was medium, then I was super fast.
Who's your favorite racer? Do you have a favorite driver? Or
I
You
don't
don't
know.
know. You know what? You know who my favorite racer is?
What?
You. Mm-hmm. You know? I mean, because the cool thing about it is parents, anybody listening, let your kid be what they want to be, you know?
Yeah.
And support it.
Yeah.
Well, I remember at Halloween when you had your trunk or treat event in the
Yes.
parking lot of your
Yes.
offices.
Yes.
And that's first where I met the both of you. And I just sat back in awe
Yeah.
and watched you be a rock star and sign autographs.
Yeah,
and
you know
stuff.
how to
Yeah.
work. You know how to work a room. Did you have fun doing that?
Yup.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
meeting all the kids,
Nice.
and I even seen you let them try on your helmet, wasn't you?
Boop, 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 boop. Yes.
So, I mean, that's special. That's a gift.
So, Bryce, how did you get into racing? What was your inspiration?
Well, my grandpa and my dad have raced. My dad since before I was born. And 4 years old, we went out to I-44 Speedway. My dad was supposed to run a go-kart, and he had a teammate that didn't show up. And I just bugged my dad and the team owner to let me drive the spare cart until they couldn't take it anymore and finally let me do it. I went out in my first feature. It was 7 cards. I was with the adults at 4 years old. Couldn't see an inch of my helmet above the seat. And followed my dad all the way around the track. Took second, followed him right behind him.
I was assuming you had to do pretty good if they let you do it again.
Well, sometimes you get lucky, and he just said, follow me, and that's what I've done since.
So, Bryce, what's coming up for you? I mean, where are you going?
Well, we've got one more 2-day event in Texas and Brownwood at Gathering Moss Ranch. It's a great facility out there with extreme flat track, now rebranded as National Flat Track. And then we'll be kicking off the summer series at the end of March. We have a race at Red Dirt Raceway in Meeker, Oklahoma, April 6th.
Meeker.
Yes, Red Dirt Raceway in Meeker, Oklahoma.
I'm kind of extremely uneducated when it comes to competitive motorcycles and the seasons. When is the typical flat track season for you?
Our typical season, now I'm to the point I don't stop racing any during the year.
Yep.
I keep going, but our winter series was from the end of October, early November to the end of March.
Yep.
And that's been our Texas North Series, and our Texas South Series has been rained out so far. And then, like I say, from the end of March all the way till October, going back full circle will be our
nonstop. Wow.
45 races in that time period across 7 states, going for the National Flat Track Grand National Championship.
Is that in the Midwest or the 7 states? Or
we'll be in Washington, Ohio, Illinois, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas.
It's a lot of time on the road.
It's a lot of time on the road, but
I know a group that does that.
Yes.
Max, put that in front of your mouth.
I said I know a group that does that. Several of them.
Oh no.
It'd be no different than touring with a band. I mean, those 2 hours of excitement when you're racing's well worth the 2 days of driving every time.
So go through what
Nice.
a typical race day is like for you. What time do you get up on race day?
Depending on what time we're racing, if we're having a day race, I'll wake up about 6:30 or 7, make sure that the bike is right. We normally kick off our day races about 11 o'clock for practice. So I'll make sure I'm suited up, try to get something in my stomach and stay hydrated. And we'll do a practice at about 11 o'clock. Keep practice open for about an hour, hour and a half, as many laps as I can get out there to make sure the bike's right and shake everything down. Come in and make some adjustments, and then we'll go out for our heat races. Heat races is what determines where we'll qualify for our feature, for our starting spots. They'll run our cycles, go to intermission, and then we'll go straight to our A features. A features, you can have up to 20, 30 bikes on the bike track at a time.
That's
Everybody
insane.
going into turn 1 at the same time.
That's the thrill of it all right there.
You.
You come out sideways,
Wide open
and
bar
away you
banging.
go.
That's unbelievable.
There's nothing like going down the back straight and hitting turn 3 at about 100.
You've got to sure trust the people that you're racing with, because when you're inches off of them and going that fast into a corner, your life's in their hands as well as theirs is in yours.
You better hope you don't go down.
So, Max, what is that you have framed right there?
So, this right here, my love for motorcycles probably will never end. Motocross, my dad, it's what kept us together. The cool thing about motocross, motorcycles, family sport, and it just made my family stronger. The racing community. And so, as we tell the story, here's the deal. 2006, which we're getting ready to go into 2007, but 2006, I left one thing off, and it was our monumental Buffalo bike run.
Yeah.
And so...
And that's the first event that your sister worked, correct?
That was the first event my sister worked, but then we came back and had a backup where we met this guy named Trigger Gum. He was a long distance jumper.
Yeah.
He had broke the world record over in Australia. And so what we were going to do was, all the crazy events that I'd ever done with no money, we had a casino, myself and Brad White, that we threw an idea out there. We want to have this jumper break Evil Knievel's record.
Okay, so was this event before or after the Matt Hoffman Jackass tribute to Evil Knievel?
It was before.
Before.
All the characters that were there at the Buffalo Bike Run, most of them made it to that movie.
Okay.
But so what happened?
Because Trigger was in it.
Yes. And so we met this guy named Trigger Gum. We built this mound of dirt, and we were going to have this. We wanted to have the largest parade, largest bike run, state of Oklahoma. And then we picked a Sunday afternoon in July to do this guy's jump. Trigger Gum comes into Miami, Oklahoma, and, I can tell you right now, dealing with those kind of people, they were a whole new level for me.
The Metal Militia crowd?
The Metal Militia, we booked in, then we said, okay, we need some freestyle jumpers. We didn't know who the Metal Militia was. I wasn't out of it, but I'd heard of Brian Deegan, but I didn't pay attention. And so Trigger says, and he's from Temecula, California. That's where it all began. And so he said, I got all that handled. So he brought us these jumpers that were the Metal Militia that, so here we are. We got a town of, I've got extreme sports riders, the best in the business in Miami, Oklahoma. I got this guy jumping for days, doing 300 feet, no problem. He's motocrossing. This was before Jackass, but if I had had a camera of all the stuff that we did in that town, it would blow your mind. I watched a dude motocross an Escalade.
I don't know if motorcycles are even allowed in Miami anymore after you guys.
Then you had a midget, and the fun begins. But in this town, anyway, we ended up doing this event, and this is what I have here, and you could read it. This is the Joplin record. You can read it, Jay, like you normally do, and we'll go over it. But we made the front page of the Joplin Globe.
A daredevil motorcyclist wiped out Sunday and was taken to Miami Hospital after trying to break his own record by jumping the length of a football field. Trigger Gum, the current world record holder in the longest jump on a motorcycle, crashed in the Ride for Life, a benefit for Muscular Dystrophy Association held Sunday at the Buffalo Run Casino. Gum rode a 450cc service Honda outfitted with a custom-built four-stroke engine, specifically designed shocks. He hit a ramp about 90 miles per hour, which launched him about 70 feet in the air before he landed on the top of a dirt ramp, lost control, and crashed over the handlebars. He was shook up, but got up and walked to the ambulance, said Tony Holden. He was 38 years old. It doesn't say what his injuries were, though.
Well, what his injuries were was he had a broken neck.
Ooh.
But he walked there. And so here we've been having this guy doing all these jumps the whole time. What happened was, and these guys are very intense, it all comes down when you're going to fly that far, when you're going to fly 300 feet, wind, anything can happen. And, we look like the kings. He's jumping, and, it come time to jump. And somehow or another, like he said, when he got up in the air and got to floating, the wind picked up and moved him off course. When he landed crooked, and it threw him, and he rolled and just
like Evil in, what was that, Olympic Stadium?
Yeah, it looked like Evil at Caesar's Palace.
Caesar's Palace, that's
and
where it
so,
was.
But as this event happened, then you have these Metal Militia guys, Robbie Madison, who now is the current
record holder.
And some of the other guys, and the only one was Robbie Madison that we recognized. But I'll never forget, everybody's freaked out. Trigger's on his way to the hospital, and Robbie Madison rose up to me and Brad, and at the time, my boss, Tony Holden, who allowed us to do all this, rose up to us and says, "You want me to finish? You want me to do it?" And, everybody was too freaked out. But at the time, if I would have known who he is and what I'd have told him to go for it.
Get after it, buddy.
But the last thing everybody wanted was another dude to crash. But
that just goes to show you how crazy you have to be in the mindset you've got to have to live in that world.
Oh, yeah.
Because
but
jumps like that take days, if not weeks, of preparation and testing.
It took us a month.
A month.
It took a month from them building the
dirt mound.
The dirt mound to testing the bike, like every day running it.
And he's ready to go.
Yeah. And then, okay, how far are you going to put that ramp? Pull it back. How far you pull it? And so, he started at about 150 feet. And as he got better, here you go. And this is just a dude just jumping, turning around, doing it again for hours each day to get it right,
Yep.
And so, it was a sight to see. And then you got the metal militia that comes in that just goes completely insane after this guy wrecked.
This is when the soda machines got thrown in the pool.
Well, listen, I get a call from the hotel that they were all staying at. And listen, Miami's not very big. And so I get a call from the hotel and goes, "Max, you need to come up here right now and see us." I go there, and there are Coke pop machines in the swimming pool, and them dudes are riding motorcycles and doing wheelies, and they're going to try to put their motorcycle in. I mean, just all out craziness, and that I've created. So it's all my fault, all my problem.
It's always your fault, Max.
And so the lady that tells me, she goes, "Max, I'm going to give you 15 minutes to have it all picked up or I'm calling the law." So I went out there, and Lisa McGinnis was with me, and she come unglued on them like she was their mama, and they listened to her, and we got it all picked up, and we avoided a big problem,
There was a vending machine in the pool, was there not?
Uh-huh.
There was a Coke machine in the pool.
There was a Coke machine in the pool, and also all the chairs and tables, and it was just and that was their. You're talking about a tight knit group. Those guys were tight, and one of their colleagues just had went down, so they were letting out their anger and their being how they were hurt through that kind of stuff, I mean, because to live in that world, that's your biggest fears, falling. Same thing about racing. Your biggest fears falling down. But and this event, but
was that bigger than the first bike run you did?
The first one was the year before. It was huge. And we had met the guy the year before, and he also came with a dude named Seth Enslow. And Seth Enslow was the guy who took a Harley Davidson 750 and jumped and had the record. I think he did almost 200 feet on a Harley, which is unheard of. But them two together, I mean, Miami, Oklahoma knew who we were after we left. But that is where the makings of Jackass was. Trigger met Mike, Minnie Cook,
right,
the midget.
And they became like best friends instantly.
So tight, I mean, then Trigger they immediately, after that happened, and he got better, they went from Oklahoma one time to Montana to Evel Knievel days, so they could jump. He could jump. Trigger jumped there. And that's where Mikey got the idea of the walls of fire. They started figuring out a way to where, and then when we were going out there and we would go to Vegas to these trade shows when we were trying to find talent for casinos and stuff like that, and Trigger had gotten Mike a gig where all he had to do was stand around and dressed up in leathers and stuff and hand out literature. And dude, the kid would get so bombed that when he gets too bombed, he could some tightened up like
right.
And me and Brad had to carry him around one night because he's with people he don't know, and eventually they don't care. And that's when my dad and them started coming at me, telling me, "Hey man, you're out there. You need to take care of Mike. You need to check it out." And that's when I seen he was getting all these jobs and getting So let's make sure he gets paid for his craziness.
Right.
And then, but you had me doing that. Then you also had Trigger. Trigger looked over him. I mean, when they did the Matt Hoppins thing, he insisted that he be in there.
That's awesome.
They figured out a way to do it. Travis duct taped him to the motorcycle, and he ended up being getting a world record for double flip.
Yeah, two different things.
And so, and so,
I believe it's episode 37. I believe
37.
Yep.
I also know this. I wouldn't probably know Bryce if Bryce knows Mike, and Bryce had talked to him before he come and saw me.
I've known Mike. I raced motorcycles with Mike at the OK Corral in Hera when I was 12 years old. And now that he's coming out of retirement doing the Wall of Death or the Wall of Fire at Daryl Starbird's car show, I think that he needs to come out of racing retirement as well and come to at least one of these NFT races.
You never know. I don't know if you get him to do that. The Walls of Fire is one thing. I mean, it's him gearing up because I think it's June or somewhere, June or July, he's supposed to break the world record on Walls of Fire. And he's got his coaches are like the best in the business. So of that business.
Well, guys, Bryce, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
When's your next race?
I think Saturday.
Where are you going to be racing at?
I think
Your next one is February 20th and 21st, Dad? No, next race in Purcell, McLean County Expo, February 18th and 19th.
So if you want to see a hot shot that's 5 years old, show you.
I don't care what you're driving. Yeah. She's gonna beat you.
If you want to see her, she'll be in Purcell.
Yep.
And she does have a Facebook page. It is Pink Piggy Motorsports.
Yes.
She
Pink
loves
Piggy Motorsports.
loves getting messages from fans.
It's easy.
And Bryce, share your socials and websites and all of that stuff.
My
as well.
socials on Instagram is bryce.prescott.motorsports, and my Facebook is Bryce Prescott Motorsports.
Here's the deal, people. You need to support something different or to look into it, Positive messages here, and it's a team effort, and there ain't nothing like two wheels when you're going fast.
Okay.
Well, here's the deal, promo only. If the next 24 hours they give our socials a like, we'll keep track of that, and we'll do a drawing, send out a couple of T-shirts.
There you go.
Here's the thing before we close. I would like to welcome my new sponsor on board.
Yeah?
It's me. No. I got me a new Dixon shirt.
Best sponsor I've had.
I want to talk about this, and Jay can too. I've just found out about this company called Dixon. I knew them about a year ago, but I've been buying their stuff. But they have this shirt that I'm wearing. They call it Bamboo.
Bamboo. Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, it feels fabulous.
I have been wanting to buy a Dixon flannel for the last year and a half. But as soon as I saw the band collaborations, like the Suicidal Tendencies one,
I got Infectious Grooves,
the Cypress Hill one, you know, I
couldn't get the Suicidal.
Pantera one, but they're $59, $69 full price, and you can't buy them in stores. And I'm 6'8". I have to try everything on.
They make XLTs, and I mean that's like me.
But I wasn't sure about which one to buy, and I didn't want to drop the kind of dough and then have to pay to ship it back if I guessed wrong. And so finally, I go to their website and I see one on sale for like $29, and I just bit the bullet. I was like, okay, I'm going to order it and see.
Best 29 you spent.
Dude, I went back to that, like within an hour, I'm back on the website ordering another one immediately because it's fit so well. They are so thick, you know, double stitched in the seams. There's microfiber underneath on the flip side for when you clean off your sunglasses. And then there's the little slit in the pocket for your sunglasses to go in so they don't fall off. Dixon, the perfect shirt.
You got it going on, especially for big and tall guys.
And for hard-working men out there, FR gear as well. So if you're working out in the oil field, fire retardant stuff as well. You don't have to stick with the Wrangler denim on denim. You can actually get a flannel.
Nice.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We're not quite done yet. We're almost done with you, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you got to say something.
Yep.
The Here's the Deal podcast, sponsored by MedCards Made Easy and the Fabulous Baker Boys. Hosted by Jay Ramone and Max Baker Jr. Produced, engineered, and fact-checked by Josh Lupton and Jeff Browning. Subscribe to the Here's the Deal podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Okay. Here's what we want you to do. Like when you heard earlier.
Yeah.
When you heard.
Jeff Keith from Tessa, and here's the deal.
Okay, so we get everybody who comes on the podcast. We get them to record this. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to say hi and then say your name.
I'm Hollywood Briar Rose.
Okay.
And here's the deal.
Yes. Okay. I got it. Hi, my name is Bryce Hollywood Bryce Prescott. I messed up.
That's okay. Let's do it again.
Hi, my name is Bryce Hollywood Bryce Prescott.
Hollywood Briar Rose Prescott.
Okay. I'll do it again. Hi, my name is Hollywood Bryce Prescott.
And here's the deal.
And here's the deal.
Say and here's the deal one more time.
And here's the deal.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, Bryce.